Two very useful functions are trim and clean, particularly when used on imported data, because you don't really always have control over the data that gets output from another system. But once you bring it into Excel, you can then use trim and clean to tidy that data up. Now they do slightly different things. Trim takes away any leading or trailing blank spaces. So if we were to start with the trim clean file and in the trim clean sheet and just type Timothy Taylor and then add in a number of extra spaces, which sometimes happens when you import data from another database, or even if someone's typing in, they can get quite carried away with their spaces. And then we'll just widen that. Now, if I use my len function, we see that that will actually count not only the number of characters, but the spaces as well. And we have 24 characters in A1. If I then use the trim function on A1, I get Timothy Taylor, which to all intents and purposes looks exactly the same as that Timothy Taylor, except it doesn't have the trailing spaces at the end or any at the beginning if there were any. And I can sort of prove that by using the len function on B1, and we now see that there are only 14 characters, which is the characters for Timothy Taylor and the space between them. Now if I use the clean function on Timothy Taylor in A1, again it looks the same, and if I use the len function to see what's happened, we find that it's still 24 characters long. The clean function does not get rid of trailing or preceding spaces. What it gets rid of are strange characters that will not print. Now these strange characters may occur when you've downloaded data from another system. If you type in, you're unlikely to be able to type in these strange characters, but you'll know them when you see them. Now we can do a little demonstration of the non-printing characters by looking here at sheet 2, which we've called char. Char is a function that returns the character at that position. So there are 250 characters stored at 256 positions, and we use the char function to pull out that character. And we have here all 256. So char 1 is actually nothing. As you go through, you can see lots of crazy little characters. Then we hit a patch of recognizable characters, such as the dollar, the ampersand, brackets, numbers, letters, lowercase letters, and then some other letters, so the euro symbol, function, letter, and then lots of different speech marks and bullet points and characters. Now, how we know which ones our clean function will get rid of is by using the clean function on them. And then replicate to go down all 256. So we can see that the clean function will clear out all of these characters that you might get from downloaded data, but it won't clear out the normal characters, exclamation marks, speech marks, hashes, numbers, letters, function, percentage, dollars, euros, yen, any of the quarter marks or any of the accented letters. So that's excellent. It's only going to get rid of all of those crazy little characters you sometimes get at the beginning that look a bit like bullets, these black circles and vertical lines. So that's the clean function, clears out all non-printable characters, and the trim function takes away leading and trailing spaces. Now that's only a function. Function result is doing what we asked it to do. If you then want to replace all of your data with that result, then you'll need to carry out a paste special. So we can take our Timothy Taylor here and copy, come across to another cell and then do paste special, just the values, value and number formatting. And what we then get is Timothy Taylor as exact text, not a function, but without those extra spaces at the end. So we started off here with the extra spaces. We used the trim function to then remove those spaces, but then a copy and paste special to give us our end result, which is the data without all the spaces. And you would do the same with the clean function. And because the clean function doesn't get rid of trailing spaces or leading spaces, these two functions really work well together. So you would embed one inside the other. So you would say equals trim, open brackets, clean, open brackets, the cell we want to work on. So we want to clean it, so we close the clean function, and we want to trim it, so we close the trim function. And then both functions take place. All non-printable characters are removed, all leading and trailing spaces are removed. We can then copy that, move to another cell, and do a paste special of the value only, and we have cleaned our data. Now we've done that with a single cell, but you could do it with a whole column. So we could have a whole column here of our data, use the double embedded function on that data for the whole column, and then copy and paste special the whole column into a new column where you would have the cleansed and trimmed data ready to go forward and use as you see fit.